Good morning, everyone. It's still dark outside. Clint's got to go to work really early every day. We get up about 3:30 in the morning. That's all right. We go to bed really early, so don't mind getting up that early because for some reason my creative juices start really early. So I get right into it. I'm a bit distracted this morning. I just woke up and watched the CBS this morning news, and I just heard about the shooting in America again, and it's upsetting. I mean, it's so upsetting, and it made me think about like the stories that I want to share with everybody, with the group, from the group, and in SKC, and how we will be like showing different stories and sharing different stories. And I need some coffee. And my history, I want to share my bit of myself with you guys as well, and let you know how I got to here. I think that's really important, and it's a full-on history, and I don't know if you'd all be prepared for me just to blurt it all out. But what this shooting has sort of reminded me of is when I was younger, I had a dear friend of mine called Cherie Wren, and when we were kids, basically, like she was 14, I was 16, and we were basically becoming young adults and young kids all mixed together. We had to live in HMCA houses, and you can consider that like homeless, I suppose, but we weren't at that stage. We weren't like on the streets or anything. We lived sort of with each other and with the support of others, and we had sort of similar stories, so we get connected. And we'd met at college at TAFE doing fine arts. And one thing that always used to upset me about Cherie was that she always had the world on her shoulders. Unfortunately, Cherie died of an overdose about 8 years later, and we always used to say that, like, we loved her, the little small group of us in TAFE, and we always used to say that she had the whole world on her shoulders and it would drag us all down because there was nothing that we could do to sort of stop her worrying so large. Like, we were just a small bunch of kids. There was nothing we could do about it. We couldn't think about how we could change the world to that kind of extremity. We were all self-absorbed with our own trauma and pain and being victims of circumstance or choice. But when I see things like that, I now, I take it in, and I take in the responsibility and allow that to be on my shoulders. I might not come up with a solution of how to fix the world, but I suppose what it does for me is it puts me on a pathway to better myself, to know that my morals and ethics towards the world and to humanity are aligned, and that I can keep fighting for our rights as human beings. And then currently there are many stances that these kids, especially these kids, my God, like these kids. We have kids out there fighting for climate change. We have kids fighting for gun laws. And I feel like the adults of the world are sort of letting them, in a way, which is wonderful for the kids, but in the same sense, it's disheartening because we always talk about protecting our kids' innocence and letting them grow up as, you know, as kids to adults, but we're no longer there anymore. Like, the kids at 8 years old crying about climate change, or kids at seeing those kids running out of that school and just crying their eyes out, like, they're changed for life. That trauma is going to affect every one of them from that school. It has completely changed the way that they now look at life. One day they were at home playing with Pokemon or whatever the latest craze is. Now, in their dreams, they're hearing gunfire. You know, it's just terrible. So I see similar things with my group, and I can help, and I do help them. And like I said, I hope that they push forward with me and we can become louder and help as much as we can. I know it sounds extreme, and I don't expect, but at the same time, my expression and the way that I creatively share this kind of stuff, I suppose, is my first step. And what I'm saying to the world, or to the few viewers that are watching me or whatever, like, I know I'm very vulnerable saying this, you know, but enough is enough. Enough is enough. And like the hashtag of never again and Fridays for future, I'm so sorry that you all have to do that. See ya.